What would happen if Deku was the hybrid Super Saiyan? Let's find out. But before we begin, I want you guys to hit that red subscribe button, it's free. If you like the story, consider liking the video and sharing this video with your friends. This really helps. The like aim for this video is 10, I'll bring the next part much sooner if this completes. Let's begin. Hisashi wasn't sure what to expect when he made his way to UA High. He accepted Netsu's job offer at the prestigious institution the day before. The principal almost instantly replied, giving him the job description and the salary and benefits of his position. Shortly after Hisashi confirmed his interest in the position, Netsu gave him the time to meet at UA for an emergency staff meeting. He said he wanted Hisashi to personally vet the staff he'd be working with for their trustworthiness, before revealing his true nature and putting pen to paper. After the meeting, if all went well, they would meet in his office to hash out the details. Flashing the temporary ID barcode on one of the papers he brought to the scanner, the gate of the UA barrier opened for him to walk through. Despite the labyrinth that was the campus, a design likely intentional part because of Netsu's biology and part to combat intruders, Hisashi navigated the halls with ease, thanks to sensing the all might in Netsu's Kai. The Saiyan scholar made his way to the meeting hall just a few minutes after arriving. He double-checked the door number with the papers he had before knocking on the door during the next lull and sound on the other side. "Come on in." A jovial voice spoke from behind the door. Needing no more, Hisashi opened the door and closed it behind him without turning around. He smiled and gave a slight bow to everyone in the room. "Greetings. I am Hisashi Midoriya. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Mr. Midoriya here will most likely be our new staff member," Netsu explained with his ever-present smile as he gestured for Hisashi to take the open seat before him, which he readily did. The gruff white-haired hero in a skin-tight red ensemble Vlad King, Hisashi's mind supplied from the staff list Netsu gave him, scoffed with a raised eyebrow suspicion. "Most likely. Netsu, since when have you done most likely, especially when hiring staff?" A couple other staff members nodded their heads in agreement before Netsu spoke. "The reasons for that are simple, Kansas, though I will only share one right now. I can't read Hisashi." The principal's slightly whitened grin as he stated the fact sent shock chills down the spines of everyone in the room, save for Hisashi himself. "Are you serious, Netsu?" A woman in a provocative outfit Midnight asked nervously. "You've never been able to not read someone before?" Netsu nodded. "Indeed. I've met Hisashi before. Of course, I wouldn't dare allow someone I haven't seen in person to enter this institution for the reasons he is here today. His thought process fundamentally differs from the rest of us, so I have no frame of reference for his psychology. That doesn't exactly fill anyone here with hope for his trustworthiness, Netsu." A disheveled man Hisashi instantly recognized as Eraserhead from Izuku's ramblings said with exasperation. "In most cases, you would be correct," Shouta Netsu replied, "but Hisashi has nowhere else to go aside from where he is now, and he's a close friend to both Naomasa and Toshinori." All Might took that cue to deflate into Toshinori with a chuckle and a grin, while the rest of the staff stared in disbelief. "For once, I have something over on you, Azawa," he jabbed playfully. Hisashi couldn't help the snort that escaped his throat, bringing all eyes to him. "What's so funny, yo?" The blonde man with the speaker around his neck, Present Mick, from the radio show Izuku and Katsuki, listened to Daily questioned half-jokingly. "Just watching the interactions," Hisashi said. "It's amusing." The growl came from a beastly-looking manhound dog before he spoke up. "Forgive us, Mr. Midoriya, for not exactly trusting you outright. Despite knowing you trained your son and his friend well for the heroics exam, we, as heroes, have to be on guard. You're also the first non-hero Netsu has even considered hiring." Hisashi nodded, seemingly not fazed by the suspicious and slightly hostile environment. His nonchalance and acceptance of Hound Dog's reasoning had everyone save Netsu and Toshinori tensing. "That is quite alright, Mr. Ryo," Hisashi stated. "I understand the skepticism. I should say, though, that until now, I have harbored the same hesitant mistrust towards everyone in this room except for Netsu and Toshi." Before anyone could voice their discontent with his reply, Hisashi nodded to Netsu across from him, silencing everyone else. "I sense no malintent, Netsu. I trust them to know, and I accept your offer regardless of their willingness to hear." Once again, before anyone could question what was happening, Netsu slid documents to all the staff except Eraserhead and Toshinori. "These are NDA forms I ask you to review and sign. Hisashi's nature and circumstances are secrets arguably more important than that of All Might's true form and quirk." Hisashi's head darted to Toshinori with an accusing glare. "You failed to inform me you told the rest of the staff." Toshinori held his hands up in a placating motion. "Hey, I told them at the beginning of this meeting. I literally had no chance to tell you." Hisashi immediately backed off with a nod. The short-lived confrontation again mystified the rest of the staff. "Why don't I have to sign one, Netsu?" Eraserhead asked. Netsu smiled. "The NDA covers young Izuku and Mr. Midoriya's situation, since they're intrinsically linked as father and son. I've simply been waiting for this meeting to inform you of the secret." With all the NDAs signed and passed back to Netsu, he and Hisashi explained his origins and Izuku's nature. Hisashi can feel the exhaustion emanating from the entire room, mixed with other emotions. "I'm so sorry you had to endure all of that, Midoriya," Midnight said with sympathetic pain in her voice. He gave her a smile of appreciation in return. "Please, you can all just call me Hisashi. It is the least I can do after unloading this upon you all. It will also prevent confusion when Izuku starts his time here. Only if you call us by our names, then, Hisashi." Midnight half teased as the room agreed. Black King Kansas spoke up again. "I'm still a bit apprehensive, given how you were literally a warring species. Curious how he is always the one to speak up despite everyone seeming to think what he is," Hisashi thought. "Has he become the bad cop to take the stress off the others?" The Saiyan nodded in acknowledgement. "I understand your trepidation, Kansas. I will not try to claim innocence, for I, too, have blood on my hands, but I give you my word that I wish to atone for the sins I have committed in my past, by helping my son protect this planet. I will do it myself if I must, too. Will you?" Eraserhead Shouta questioned. He glared daggers into Hisashi's eyes. "Are you willing to give up your freedom or your life to protect us?" Hisashi met Shouta's glare with one of his own, a steely glare of determination. "Absolutely. Much like my friend Bardock did for planet Vegeta, I will sacrifice whatever it takes to protect that which I love." Shouta raised an eyebrow but said nothing, so Hisashi continued. "Bardock was like me, disillusioned with Frieza's rule and the conquering culture we were raised in. We were both ready to face him if needed to liberate our people. I fled instead of standing by him because it was his wish, and I wanted to honor it." Hisashi broke the standoff by looking up wistfully. "I've grown to see Earth as my true home more than planet Vegeta ever was. I am not under the boot of Frieza or King Vegeta. I am free to pursue what I wish without judgment or penalty. My wife, son, and friends are dear to me, as is the life on this planet outside of humanity. From the trees, to the birds, to even the insects you consider pests and beyond, I see it all as bodeous and beyond worthy of protection." He looked back into Shouta's eyes with a wild grin that had the pro lean back in his chair. "I don't care what I have to give up to see Earth continue to thrive. I'll try to live as long as possible for my family, but I will do anything to save this world." The tension in the room grew with every second of silence after Hisashi's declaration to Shouta, both staring at each other, as if daring the other to look away. After what felt like an eternity to everyone, Shouta blinked first. He closed his eyes and nodded before noticeably relaxing in his seat. "Quite wonderful." Netsu clasped his paws together with a clap, breaking the tension instantly. "I knew I was right placing my faith in you, Hisashi." "I agree. I'm glad I suggested you when I requested help," Toshinori said with his trademark grin. Hisashi smiled and bowed his head. "I am glad I was able to prove myself." Netsu returned the smile, shocking the staff with its warmth and sincerity, compared to his usual smiles. He then addressed the whole room. After hashing out the details of his contract, Hisashi will work in several positions here at UA. He will be a quick analyst for any student or staff member who chooses to make an appointment with him, firstly. Second, he will be the foundational heroics primary combat instructor, given his experience as a warrior. And finally, he will be a general teaching assistant to Shouta and Toshinori. Hisashi gave a bow in his seat. "I look forward to working with you all." Shouta and Toshinori bowed to him, albeit the former was more hesitant. "Just don't get in my way too much," Shouta said. "I do not plan to," Hisashi replied. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the story. If you did, please like the video and share it with your friend. Also hit that red subscribe button, it's free. This really helps. I'll see you in the next part.